Hey, hey, little chickadees. This is Grace coming live from the Comfy Nest with Grace to do crafts with kids, crafts for kids. This is the 8th session of crafts for kids, and today we're going to do something super cute for spring, although you could do this for any time of year. It doesn't have to just be for spring. So for those of you who saw my post earlier, I offered to give you guys these cutouts. This would be really helpful for you with your project. You need a shape, and the simpler the shape, the easier and the better it will be for the kids. So you guys, when you come on, make sure you say hello. I'm going to get the camera flipped. I'm going to make sure I can pull up the comments down here below on my iPad, and then we'll get started. So, good morning, everybody. All right, there we are. I found me. I'm going to turn that volume down. And let's see, flip the camera. Where are my comments? Oh, good gravy, Facebook. Sometimes it works really well, and sometimes it just gives us trouble. That's all I know about that. Okay, I don't want to put it on Bluetooth. I'm going to have to use this. Never got your image, Diana. I emailed it to everybody who gave me their email address as of 5 minutes ago when I came live, when I came in here to get ready to be live. I will absolutely email it to you, but I need an email address. So sorry if you didn't get it. I can still send it to you. It's not a problem. If you don't have the picture, I'm going to show you how you can do this in other ways. But what I was saying is the simpler the better. For little kids, the egg is the best way, especially for the littles to start. The egg would be the best one. For kids who are getting older or for adults, you can do a more complicated one. So there you go. All right. Diana, I would say check if you think that if I commented that I sent it to you, then I sent it to you. So check your junk mail would be my next suggestion. Okay. Hey, Pat. Hello, hello. Hey, Katrin. Everybody say hi to my sister. Okay. So I told you to get some cardstock, right? Cardstock paper or cardstock, like anything. You could actually use a cardboard box, your cereal box, anything as your base. 8.5 by 11 will match the size of these that I made available to whoever wants it. I can still send them out, not a problem. I am going to use my scrapbook paper, okay? You can use for this, if you have extras of yarn, fabric, or cut it into strips, scrapbook paper in spring-like colors, all of these things in spring-like colors. You could use washi tape, just anything that you can cut into little strips you could use for this project, and you'll see as we get going and we start doing it. So I had a little struggle this morning. I cannot find my 8.5 11 cardstock anywhere. I just can't find it. I don't know where it went. So for me to use this, I'm going to actually use, well, I can do this. So if you have like manila folders that, like, you know, when you use them up or you've written on them and you're all done with them, you could use this as your back, because I'm pretty sure this is going to be 8.5 by 11 or pretty darn close to it. So let me measure this out, because this is what I'm going to use for my back. Let me get this camera down. Would love the images for the grandkids. Rebecca, just comment on that post where I offered it. I showed the 2 pictures and I offered it. Just comment with your email and I'll send it to you. And when I send it to you, I'll comment that I did that, so you know to look for it. Can't find it, check your junk mail. Check the spelling of the email that you gave me. I am copy and pasting the email that you've given me so that I don't mess it up. So just make sure the spelling is correct. Maybe you're off a letter or something like that. Okay, I cannot find my cardstock that's this size. I looked, cannot find it. So I'm going to create an 8.5 by 11 background for myself. So I'm on my cutting mat, so this makes it really easy for me. I'm going to use my X-Acto knife when I can find it on a cutting mat and my ruler to cut out this backing, because I want it to be the same size as, well, really, you just need 2 pieces of cardstock that are the same size, right? So you could use 12 by, you know what, let me just use 12 by 12. It'll be easier. If you have your cereal boxes, if you have manila folders, if you have a cardboard box, you can cut it down to whatever size you need. Let me just grab, I have so much cardstock paper. Let me just grab some, and that's what I'll use. Just hangs tight. Okay, I'm over in my cardstock bin reaching for paper. You can use double-sided paper. Gosh, you're going to see when we get started with this, all the different options that you have. So I have all this cardstock paper. The reason I'm grabbing this is because it's cardstock, so it's heftier, it's stronger. So I can just use 2 pieces of this. I'll use this one because I don't love it, so I'll use that as my background. I don't love that paper. And then, actually, I think, let's see, what do I want to do here? I'm just picking out my top and bottom of my project. So bear with me. There are so many pretty colors. Look at that cool thing. I think I'll just use the 2 stripes, and it'll be a lot like what you're going to be doing with your 2 white or colored pieces of cardstock. It can be colored, it can be white, it can be literally whatever you want, okay? All right, so one needs to be your base. That's what we're going to work on. That's giving us our base. And then the other one's going to be the top, but I'm going to do my top this way so that the front is white. I don't want a pattern. I don't want a color on the top of mine. If you want a color, you want a pattern, go for it. I would never tell you what to do with your projects. I always leave that up to you guys. Why on earth, you guys, can I not see your comments today? Hold on, I'm going to see if I can at all find them or get them so that we can chit chat while we work and I can answer questions. I have no idea. Oh, maybe there. Yay, there they are. Okay. Annalise says, thanks for doing these. I'm babysitting till things get worse in Arizona. Well, Annalise, I'm so glad to be helpful. Hey, Becky, good morning. Good morning, Teresa. Yeah, and feel free, Annalise, please share it with other people who you know are caregiving, taking care of the kids, or even parents who are home doing schoolwork with the kids at home. A lot of art teachers are probably giving the kids the option to do whatever project they want, so this might give them some inspiration for the parents. Okay, so you have this. This is going to be your pattern for your egg, and you're going to need it on the top, and you're going to need it on the bottom. So on your bottom piece of paper, I can flip this way too if I want so that it's easier to work with. So on your bottom piece of paper, you need to have an egg shape. And on your top, you need to have the egg cut out. So I'm going to start, let's make sure I do these both the right way. I'm going to start on the top. And so here's the challenge is how are we going to get this egg shape onto here so we can cut it out? You can do 2 things. If you've never used your chalk for this, one trick colored chalk, you want to use colored chalk, but one trick you can always do if you need to trace something, you can put chalk on the back of your piece of paper. This isn't going to work great because mine's white, but I'll grab a colored piece of paper and show you how this works. So you want to load up the back of your piece of paper that has the shape on it with chalk around the edges where you're going to be tracing. Then, I'll do it on this side. Well, you won't be able to see it there either. All right, cardboard to the rescue. I always save my cardboard for this reason. Then you're going to flip it over, and you can take anything. A pencil works really well, but if you take a pencil and you then trace, and I'm not going to do this perfectly, but you then trace your shape, then you'll have the outline of what you need to cut out. Can you see it very faintly? So it's better to use colored chalk, especially if you're working with white paper, but that's one secret that I can reveal to you, one little secret tip that I have. If you ever have something you need to trace and it's on a piece of paper and you want to get that shape onto something else, flip it over, colored chalk, flip it back over and trace it with pencil, and then you'll see the shape that you need, okay? That's one way you can do it. The other way to do this, let me put my chalk aside, is to cut your this is my template, so just go ahead and start cutting it. Do not cut. This is all do not cut zone. Do not cut outside of the egg. We're going to cut inside of the egg. You can use your scissors. I can use my X-Acto knife. So if I come in here with my X-Acto knife, I'm going to cut right down the middle. If you have your scissors, you're going to poke a hole in the middle, and then with either your X-Acto knife or with your scissors, go ahead and cut out your shape for your template. Do not cut on the outside. This is why I said this shape, because it's just a simple round shape, is so much easier for the kiddos, the little ones. The older kids can do more complicated shapes, like the bunny with that ear. But here's my template now, right? So now on here, on your bottom piece, you need to show your egg wherever you want it positioned on your project, okay? Let's see, I'm gonna do mine. I'm gonna use my template and I'm gonna line up the bottom of this piece of paper to the bottom of the other one, so that on both pieces of paper, I know that they're, it's going to be evenly distributed, and I'm gonna hit the jackpot here. So it is important that wherever you position on the top, it has to match on the bottom. The top and the bottom have to match. So I'm gonna put this right in the middle, and I'm going to create an outline of my egg. Now I can use my template, and you can do this with any shape you want. Hearts, the sun, animals, whatever. Okay, so there's my guide for my bottom. I have to do the same thing, but on the top, instead of having a guide, we're going to cut this out. So again, I'm going to position this right in the middle. I want this to be positioned exactly where the one on the bottom is. So with your 8.5 by 11, it's going to be a lot easier, because when you put your template on your 8.5 by 11 and you match up all your sides, it's going to be perfectly aligned. For me, it's a little more tricky because I'm using 12 by 12. I cannot find my 8.5 by 11. Can't find my 8.5 by 11 cardstock. Okay, so I've drawn my template. On the bottom one, a drawn template is all you need. On the top one, I need to cut this out just like I did on my piece of paper, on my template. Okay, but this is your real paper. This is the paper that's going to be part of your artwork. Okay, so now this piece of paper that you're going to put on top, I think it looks better when it's a solid, like solid white, solid pink, solid yellow, whatever color you want. Remember, don't cut on the outside of your egg. We're just cutting the inside. If it's easier for the kids, have them cut a little section out so their hands have a place to work. It is a little challenging because you're doing the inside. We're not coming from the outside edge. We have to come from an inside edge. So it's easier if you can cut yourself a little hole, then you can hold your paper and cut your egg, okay? This piece of paper, I think it looks better when it's a solid. It can be any solid color that you want, but patterns work too. And you'll see as we start working on this project, as long as the patterns don't clash with the strips of yarn, the strips of paper, the strips of fabric, the other, ribbon, whatever you're using on here. So this is what we have. We have the bottom with our guide, and then we have the top that's going to cover the bottom when we're all done with this. Let's see how well did I do that. I'm pretty darn good. I could have just cut the top and then did the template from here too. That works too. Keep these because whenever you cut your templates, keep them, because then you can do more projects with them. I keep them in a manila folder in my craft room. All sorts of shapes. Okay, so now the top is going to go, when it's all done, this is going to go on top of the bottom. So just put your top with the egg cut out to the side. We don't need that right now. Now what we need to do is we want to cover this egg shape using our glue, whether we have a glue stick or a glue gun or just Elmer's glue, Mod Podge. Honestly, it doesn't matter what kind of glue you're going to use. I'm going to grab my Mod Podge here. And then what we want to do is we're going to glue down strips of ribbon, strips of paper, strips of yarn, strips of fabric, anything that you want to lay down, we want to cover this whole egg. And then when this is all colored with bright, beautiful pattern, we're going to glue this on top. So it's going to become a framed, and if you're using the fabric or the ribbon or the yarn, framed 3D piece of artwork. Okay, I'm going to use paper because I have so much, you guys. I have so many like pretty papers that are spring-like. So I have some greens, some purples. So you want to, at this point, go ahead and start picking out the colors of paper, ribbon, yarn, whichever you've chosen. Patterns are really fun, so this would be a really fun. And this one has like glitter, like some of it's glittery. The yellow ones are glittery, so that would be a good one. Just pick out whatever ones you want that you like the most. And we're going to start cutting those in strips and gluing them down. Oh, this one's really fun. It's just the opposite. Oh, I have one perfect strip. This is exactly what we need, is a bunch of strips like this. And then we're going to glue them down on our egg in strips, and then we're going to cover it. So it's going to be a really cool piece of artwork. So just gather up whatever patterns you like most. Here's a pretty blue. It coordinates with this one. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna start with that and see what we get. So now we just need to cut our paper into strips, or your ribbon or your yarn or whatever it is. The strips don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be, but I will tell you, if you have a cutting board and you have a ruler, you can create, or just with your ruler, you can create straight strips just by lining your ruler up and putting your pencil on it. And you can make some skinny and some really wide. Like this one's really wide. That would be maybe too wide. But go ahead and cut yourself some strips of whatever medium you're using. You could combine them too. Actually, I have some ribbon close by. I'll grab my ribbon and maybe I'll do a piece or two of ribbon mixed in with my papers. Okay, so let's see. I'm just getting my lines cut out on my paper so I can cut it all. Your fabric, same thing, you're just going to cut it in strips. And the strips have to be wide enough to cover your egg from end to end. They want to be wide enough, and they can go over. They can go over. You're actually probably safe. Don't cut them exactly to the size of the egg, because it leaves you no room for error. If you cut it longer than the shape of your egg, when you place the top, which is your frame for your egg, on top, if you make it a little longer, no one's going to see that, but it gives you wiggle room. So if you're off just a little bit either way, your egg is going to still be covered completely, if that makes sense. Okay, so just go ahead and cut yourself some strips. If you want to be exact, use your ruler. If exact doesn't really matter to you, then you can use just whatever. You can overlap them. You probably should overlap them just a little bit. We're not going to glue them down yet. All I want you to do is get your colors cut so that you can line them up in the order that you want them to go. I'm going to grab some ribbon, because some ribbon on here might be really cute. Where did I put my ribbon? Am I not forever saying, where did I put that? Okay, so you could make this 3D. Here's my ribbon stash. I could grab, like, here's a pink. Let me grab some pastel-y colors out of here. You could do ribbons that have polka dots, paper that has patterns. It makes it more interesting if you do that. Let's see, I'm looking for something. Oh, look at this one. With a solid top, with a solid frame on top, you could do parts of your egg can have, that is really cute with the bugs. If I do the bugs with pink, I'm going to take out one of these other colors because I don't want too much color. Like the blue I might take out, but I have to decide first which colors and which ribbons or paper I want to use. Nope, don't like that one. I'm going to pull this one out. Oh, this one's really long because I might use that one. Well, I'm going to look for some more. Oh, I like the polka dots. I like chevron. I like all of those little, I have that too. That's really pretty. And this one would lay down really nicely. So if I take out the purple and I take out the blue and I go with yellow and pink. This part's the fun part. You can just decide. Oh, look at, I have this little yellow strip. I could put that on the very top or close to the top. I could put this here. I could put this yellow strip here. That would be cute. So you're just gonna start lining up your strips of whatever you've chosen to use. And you wanna line it up so that it overlaps by at least a 1/2 inch, your egg shape. And just keep piecing them together until you find a combination that you like, okay? I'm gonna do a combination of ribbons and paper. How's that? Just for the sake of why not? All right, so I could put this one underneath the riprap. Is that what that's called? Riprap? I don't know what it's called. There, that would be cute. And then I could do a pink ribbon. The really wide pieces, you don't have to do as many because they're so wide. All right, so if I need more yellow in here. So I could come in with this one now. Now we haven't glued them down and that's totally fine. But now, so you see this one's really long. So I want to cut it so that it's gonna overlap by about at least a 1/2 inch on both sides. That gives you lots of room for making mistakes or misjudging the size of it. Okay, this one's really sticking out like big time. I'm not sure, I might take that one off. I'm not sure I like that one now that I've got it all together. Let me see if I have another pink in here. And you don't have to use scraps. I just like to use my scraps for things like this, just because that's what they're there for me. If you have spools of ribbon, just cut what you need off of your spools. That's totally fine too. This one's cute. It's really skinny, but it's cute. I could put this really skinny ribbon closer to the top. All right, let's see. What if I did paper, ribbon? All right, this is the fun part, you guys. Just start playing with all of the strips of things that you have and figure out a pattern that you like. This kind of has a shimmer to it. You guys have any of this cardstock? You can buy it in these big, huge pads, 12 by 12 in the scrapbook section. So this side is plain blue. This one has like a shimmery pearl color to it. I like the blue because it pulls out the little flowers of blue in here. So maybe I should keep the blue and then I'll put the green strip in between the two. Kind of like that. If you have wide ribbon that you feel is too wide, you could always cut it down the middle. So that's an option. If you just, you have a ribbon that's just too wide, or you could overlap them. Like if I want my pink next, but I don't want it to be so wide, I could put it underneath my blue. So I'd want to tape it down or glue it down before I put the blue. So these are all the things you want to work out before you start gluing, so you have a plan for yourself. I really like this one. I'm going to put this one on the bottom. I just have to find something for in here. And let me cut this because I'm definitely going to use that skinny strip. All right, let me check comments, see if there are any questions. You're welcome, Mary. So Mary, you got your templates. That's good. Diana's going to go figure out lunch. Good for you. Oh, Diana says, the boys decided on an easy lunch so we can watch and figure out what to do later. That's perfect. That is perfect. I need to get me some grandbabies, Connie. That's cute. That's really cute. Oh, look what I found, you guys. I like that one too. Gosh, I kind of like the idea of the paper and the ribbons. I might use this polka dot. How about if I did the green stripe? Put the blue there. I could go on for ages with this and just keep changing my mind over and over again. Because that's the fun part, is like piecing it all together. I'm not sure that this little skinny strip is going to show up real well. Let me cut that because I do like the green polka dot too, but I don't know that I want it right next to the zigzag one. All right, taking out that one. we'll go like this. Like that. Okay, so now, as you can imagine, you can test out your project. Okay, if you decide to do your top, your frame, I call it the frame. If you decide to do your frame with a solid color, you can test it out now, right? So we can test it out. We can lay this on top, in theory. They might wiggle around a little because they're not glued down yet. But in theory, this is what we're gonna get. I actually really love that that's raised up. Really cute, right? If you decide to go with a pattern, okay, you can see why a pattern, it may take away from, or it may make your thing pop. I don't know, do you guys like the pattern frame? Or do you like the solid frame? Actually, now that I'm looking at it up from the camera down, that's actually pretty cute. Maybe I will use the pattern. So see, you have the option to do whatever you want, but you got to get these glued on. And it is really nice to give yourself the wiggle room of making sure that your pieces go over the edge so that when you place your pattern down, you didn't cut it too close and you're missing part of your color there. Okay, I'm gonna go in. I've got mine basically laid out the way I want it. So I'm gonna start gluing it down. I usually take my ickiest, the paintbrush that I like the least is usually the one that I put in my Mod Podge. But my Mod Podge ones, my Mod Podge brushes, I use the same brushes for everything. I don't really have one just for Mod Podge. Just saying. Okay, so I'm gonna get started with this part. I am going to use my craft mat to water down my Mod Podge a little, because remember I told you my Mod Podge is really old. And because it's old, it's really sticky and it's really hard to spread. So that's not a problem if that happens to you with your supply. Because I bought this, I'll never buy this big vat of Mod Podge again. And when I bought this, you guys, I didn't put a date on it. Like, I have no idea when I opened this. It's been years. I'll never buy it. It's too big. If you had a kindergarten class and you're using Mod Podge a lot, it might be worth it. For one single person, it's not a good plan. Okay, I'm gonna Mod Podge. Actually, you could Mod Podge the back of your strips so that you know that you have exactly the amount that you need, and then flip it over and cover your egg. Make sure you're covering a 1/2 inch all the way around. You don't have to do them horizontally. You could do them diagonally. You can do them vertically. Do whatever you want. I'm just gonna do mine horizontally. So you, like I said, I'm not the boss of you when your projects are your own. You can do them however you want. Okay, this little ribbon, the ribbon's gonna take more Mod Podge. Look at, I just made a mess. It's all good. It's gonna take more because it's fabric and it's gonna suck it up. So get it really good and saturated. It will dry clear. So if you get a little bit on the front, kiddos, don't worry. It's gonna dry clear. You're gonna get a little glue on your fingers. So maybe moms and dads have some wipes or paper towels nearby, because in between each strip, I'm gonna wipe down my glue off the outside. And then you might need, I have like a little rag handy to just wipe the tips of your fingers. Okay, now this one, if I want it to go underneath, I should work quickly. I'm going to cut this down a little bit more because my Mod Podge on this is still wet, so I probably can get them. I don't want to put this necessarily in the wet parts, but give it a good wipe and then pick it up. If I want it to go underneath, I can just wiggle it under there while it's still a little wet, so that the fabric is sitting on top of the two papers. These are, I think this is so fun because you can do a lot with patterns, and patterns can be a lot of fun. All right, we're going to put this blue strip next. And you can use a paper plate. The only difficulty I see with a paper plate that doesn't have a wax coating is it's going to get soft with the Mod Podge, and the Mod Podge is going to start drying into it because it's so absorbent. So if you have a waxy paper plate or like a styrofoam paper plate, or just you could use a kitchen plate too, and then just rinse, make sure you rinse off the Mod Podge before it dries. Okay, so we got that one next. The papers, they just stick so well to the Mod Podge. The fabric, it takes a little more work. You really do have to push down on it to make sure that it all adheres. Okay, was that what I was gonna do, right? All right, so I'm gonna put a bunch of this. The part that takes the longest is cutting your templates, cutting your bottom, cutting your frame out, getting those all ready, and then picking out your colors of ribbon, yarn. Gosh, you guys, you can use anything. You could use newspaper, you could use magazines, like pages from magazines, and use the strips of those. You could use a coloring sheet. You know, you've colored something and you're now like, okay, what do I do with it now? You could use, let's see, let's get creative. A deck of cards. You have extra cards, a deck of cards that you're missing some, like you're missing the ace of spades and you don't want to throw them out. You could cut up strips of deck of cards. You could do anything. That's the fun part. Be creative. I would love it. For those of you who are doing crafts with kids, I would be so honored and happy if you would share your pictures with me. I would love to make a collage to kind of showcase all of the craftiness of all our Comfy Nest chickadees out there. So if you're willing to just send me a snapshot, like you can private message me, I would be so thrilled, because then I can share it with everybody. Okay, I'm a little short here. I'm going to show you something. It's not the end of the world, but I've been overlapping these, and as I've overlapped them each just a tish, like, you know, a 1/16 of an inch here, a 1/16 of an inch there. Now the bottom of my egg has no coverage. So I'm going to have to come up with one more strip down there, which is not a problem at all. I just want to point out to you that that's the way mine worked out. Okay, pick up some more Mod Podge. I'm gonna have to put it right down in this mess because I've messed up my whole craft mat is full of Mod Podge. I could take a paper towel and dry it all off, but I'm a lazy, messy crafter, so I don't mind. I'll get a little Mod Podge on my fingers. The top will have it on there, but it's going to dry, so I'm not gonna worry. I'm gonna overlap this a little more than I intended, so I have a bigger chunk right here to put another pattern or color. Okay, now I'm going to push this down with my fingers, mainly trying to wipe the Mod Podge so it's all evened out and I don't have clumps. Now I can use my rag to dry my fingers off. I do have to come up with one tiny strip right there that I didn't plan on, but because I was overlapping them, this is that one, and that's probably too close together. So I could end it. I started it with this green. Let's end it with that green. And I only need a tiny little piece of it. This is a fabulous way to use up your excess fabrics. Just fabrics, anything. Your little strips of paper that you have left over, ribbons that you have left over. This is just fun, easy, like I said, and keeping the kids busy making really cute things. Okay, and you can do any shape at all. Obviously, springtime, we're focused on springtime, so I'm doing the Easter egg. But you can do Santa, you can do a snowman, you can do a heart, you can do whatever, a dog, whatever you want. And they come out really, really cute. Then once you have, okay, so this part is done, right? We need to glue the top sheet onto the bottom sheet or tape it. You can glue or tape it. But first let me test it and make sure that my egg, my frame, I call this the frame, the top part. Make sure that my frame is going to sit on here. So really I want to match up the edges, and then on like an 8.5 by 11, if you cut it down to an 8 by 10, you can pop that in a frame. That would be a cute little gift for somebody. Okay, so you guys vote. You tell me, do you like the striped with the egg, or do you like it plain with the egg? I think I like the stripe. I think I like the stripe. It's really cute. It's super busy. So I'm taking a paper I didn't even like, and this is making me think that is super cute. Super cute. Let me check comments. Oh, we hit 25 people. Connie says use blue again. We're watching, and Kaysen is reading to us, learning all around. Yay, Diana. Beth says she likes the stripes better. I do too, Beth. I would not, if you had asked me at the beginning, I would have said, ish, I don't like this striped paper at all. That's exactly what I said. I don't like the striped paper. But that's cute. Now, you could use your glue gun because we want to get this whole thing down on here, right? Now, what I would think about if I were you, before you decide which adhesive to use, is where are you going to put it? Like, how are you going to use this? Are you going to put some jute rope on the back and hang it on the wall? Are you going to put it in a frame? If you're going to put it in a frame, you don't have to be as concerned with this top and the bottom adhering really well, because the frame is going to sandwich it together in the glass and it's going to hold it in. But if I'm gonna put some jute rope on the back of this so I can hang it. And so in that case, I want to make sure that I have a really strong glue, something that's really going to hold the whole thing together. So let me do this. I'm going to put the Mod Podge away for a minute. I'm going to use my spray adhesive, which I have not used a whole lot of actually. But I'm kind of falling in love with it, you guys. So I'm going to take my nice big, let me turn this up a little. It's so hard with the camera angle for you guys to see big things. So I like to put the camera up and then pull myself back and show you. These are cardboard inserts that I get. I get them with my Chalk Couture shipments when they come in. And they come, this one's cut down. They come really big, right? In the envelopes or in the boxes of supplies, craft supplies that I order. And I keep them because they make great backdrops. I can just use them in so many ways in my craft room. So one way is as a protective for using spray adhesive. So I can lay this on my craft table. I'm going to spray, so I've got my 2 layers here. I've got my layer, that's the base that has my egg colors. And then I have the frame, which is the top. I am going to spray adhesive on the back of the top and then place it down. Okay, that's my plan. You could use a Mod Podge brush and brush. Might be easier on your page if it's an 8.5 by 11. Mine's a 12 by 12. So the fastest, easiest way for me to do this is a spray adhesive. So that's what I'm going to do. But you could use hot glue. You could use, if you only have double-sided tape, use double-sided tape. Just whatever. I don't discriminate. Like, whatever you have on hand that you can use, I'm a huge fan of using up what you got instead of going out and buying more of something. All right, let me put the cover on my, what did I do here? Where's my X-Acto? Oh, there it is. I want to put the cover on it before I cut myself. I'm going to lay out this cardboard and then I'm going to get my spray adhesive. I'm going to spray the back of this and sandwich it together. So I'll show you that here in a second. Thanks, Kat. She said, love the sweater. Thank you. Long time no see, Miss Diane. For a minute there, did we hit 25 viewers? Because I would add a name in the prize basket. I have not been doing that for Crafts for Kids because I really wanted the focus to be on the kiddos, but if you guys want me to, I'll do that. Hey, Robin in Tennessee. The stripes are pretty cute, right, Ellen? I'm shocked. I really am truly shocked. All right, I'm putting supplies away so that I don't get any spray adhesive where I don't want it. This spray adhesive works really great. Craft Bond. I got it for $1 at our local thrift store, like our secondhand store had it. And I hadn't been buying it. It's temporary or permanent, and I think that's based on what you use it on and how long it's been sitting on there. Resists bleed through. It's acid free. All right, this is what I'm going to use. It doesn't have a huge smell, so you don't have to worry about that too. Kathy asks, are the boys still home? They are home, and they are they're doing their schoolwork from home on Google Classroom with Zoom meetings, email. They're doing, like Gannon said, I finished my math today, and both of my kids are in advanced math. Math scares me anyway. Advanced math? They're doing stuff, Landon's doing stuff now in 8th grade that I did when I was a junior in high school, and I didn't do it well then, and that was like 30 years ago. So this is the only thing that makes me nervous is, like if they need a lot of help, we'll just be referring them back to the teachers because I cannot help with math. I'm better at the English and the arts and the writing, and that's the stuff that I excelled in. The math scares me just a little, but so far they're both able to keep up, and they have full access to their teaching staff, which is, the teachers have worked so hard, the administrators and teachers. Hi, Deborah in PA. Hey, Linda in New Jersey, welcome. You guys are so cute. All right, let me do the spray adhesive. I'm going to turn this down. I'm going to give it a really good soak. So here's my egg. We're gonna put it on top of the bottom when it's all wet. You can see where the adhesive goes. I'm really gonna make sure that the edges stick. The edges here and the edges here. That's really important because you don't want something sticking up where it shouldn't be. It does have a smell, but it's not, you know what, you guys, I should probably wear a face mask when I do this stuff because this isn't good for your lungs. Truly, you know, you should take it out to the garage or something like that. I'm going to prop my window open just to get a little fresh air. It's not horrible, but some people are very affected by that. Okay, I feel like right here, oops, come on. I missed a spot. There. And you really want your corners and your edges to stick. Now, I'm going to grab my base. Here it is. This is my base. I'm going to pull this off of here. Put that aside. And now I can flip this over and stick it down. So, before you stick it down, make sure. What I like to do, since it's all, what are these called? 90-degree angles? I was terrible at geometry too. These angles, if you match up, it's kind of like quilting. If you match up one really well, they should all fall perfectly into place. So if you match up one edge and one angle really well, one corner really well, they should all just immediately fall into place. They should all fall into place. Okay, mine is, I really soaked it around the edges so you can see it, and this will dry. My adhesive will dry, but I really want to focus on pushing down the edges and getting bubbles out, okay? It's wet. There ain't no doubt about that. I got glue on my fingers, so let me grab this because I got a little glue on my fingers. I'm going to use this to push down. There. This is super cute. I cannot believe how much I like this paper. All right, this is, you can see how it's wet still, this adhesive. You can see here where it's wet. That'll all dry. I'm not worried about that. Let me hold this up, and then I'm going to put some jute rope on the back. I'm going to hot glue a little piece. Oh, you could use ribbon. Ribbon would be really cute too. Cuteness, right? This is going to be super cute. Now, you could use as your backing, I just used another piece of scrapbook paper. You could use as your backing, like I said, a cardboard box, your cereal box. You can use, this is one of those white canvas boards because this is nice and sturdy and strong. You just want to match the glue that you're using, the adhesive that you're using to whatever papers or cardboard box. You want to make sure that it's strong enough to hold. You know, your ribbon might need a different adhesive than, say, the paper or yarn. Hot glue works with everything, but hot glue can be bumpy. So if you're using really thin ribbon, the hot glue might show in beads underneath that ribbon. So just keep that in mind as you're choosing which materials to work with. I'm trying to pull materials, you guys, that everybody, if you have a craft room or you have children who craft, you probably have a lot of this stuff on hand anyway. And that's why I said this stuff here, gosh, you could cut up magazines and use colorful strips of magazine paper. You could use wrapping paper. You could use like a gift bag and cut it up for your strips and for your frame. Sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want with it. I can't believe how much I like the stripes with all of these patterns, but I do. And I do like that. So my fabrics, especially this one, has a lot of texture to it. So it's like puffy compared to, the ribbons are puffy compared to, so you got paper, ribbon, paper, paper, ribbon, paper, ribbon, paper. And they have different textures to them. So it kind of makes it a little 3D. It gives, like, you know, the real littles might like kind of touching those because they do like to feel things. All right, so you can do this with any shape. We just did it with the egg. The egg will be easiest for the kiddos, for the real little ones to cut out their shape. Or mom, dad, caregiver, whoever you are, if you want to do this one with the kiddos, fine. You might just have to help them a little more with the cutting. I also, if you don't get these, you can print these out from Google. I do have these two available. I can email them to you. They're in the 8.5 by 11 size. If you don't have that available, you can use stencils that you have on hand for your template. I just, before we came online, I tested it with a block. I have this little wooden bunny block, and I cut out a piece of cardboard as my base. And then I used this little bunny block to create my shape. I just used a pencil and traced it on my papers so I could create this little one. This would be a great one to drop in the mail or to put in your neighbor's mailbox when you're going for a walk with a little note. You know, haven't seen you in a while. Hope everyone's healthy. You know, these make cute little, you could hang these in the windows. You could make a banner with the little ones. So if you have a little shape, a magnet, the kids, you know how the kids have blocks, the real littles have blocks of different shapes. You could use those as your pattern as well. So possibilities are endless. You do whatever you like. I would love to see your projects. So please, if you're doing the Crafts for Kids, this is Crafts for Kids number 8. This is the 8th project. All of them are in my video playlists. You'll find them in the Crafts for Kids playlist. And if you would be willing to share me your photos of any of your projects, I would be thrilled to share them. I won't share them as individual photos, but I will create a collage of all of them and share them out so that the community can see them. I would really appreciate it. Connie says, I got a light tracing machine for my birthday. I'm excited to try it. This is perfect for that. Perfect for that, Connie. So a lot of people don't have that. With the tracing machine, you can trace so many things. Yeah, you could use these, like wooden cutouts. There's just so many possibilities. I love it. You could use pictures out of coloring books. Absolutely, Cheryl. Absolutely. If you have any other ideas, if you guys who are here live, you guys who are coming on and catching the replay, comment replay so I know that you caught the replay. And if you have any ideas to share for what you might use for your materials, please share them, because the more ideas, the more it makes it more fun for everybody. All right, let me put a little bit of rope or ribbon or something to hang this. I'm gonna go to my bag of leftover ribbon and see if I have just a thin ribbon I can use to hang this. I'm gonna hot glue it on the back. My hot glue gun is warm and ready to go. Oh, I like wide ribbons for something like this. It just makes it look a little fancier. So I got this silky wide ribbon. I want to make sure the bottom of the egg is a little wider than the top. So make sure you have the right part of your egg. I'm going to put this as hanging ribbon. I'm going to super glue it on the back. I just want to see how much ribbon do I need. If I want it to hang, I don't want it any bigger than that probably. I like a really short hanger. I know some folks like it longer. On a lot of the finished goods that I sell or some of my giveaways, I normally ask the person first, do you want a hanger on it? And then secondly, if you do want a hanger on it, like what if you have a preference for how long it is? Okay, I don't want to put my finger on that because it's going to be hot. So I look around and find anything that I can as a buffer so that I don't burn my finger. When you use a wide ribbon, just make sure that you're lining it up the way you want it so it's not all twisted and goofy on you when you hang it, okay? So whichever way you want it to show, if you want it flipped one way versus the other, just make sure you test that out before you go ahead and attach it. That way you don't have a goofy, I want them both to go this way. And I do need to cut it because it's far too long. So I'll have, no, that's not what I want. I want to, yep, that is what I want. And then what I do like to do is make sure that they are evenly spaced, right? So if I put, that length away on this side, then you want to put that length away on this side. That way when it hangs evenly. Just keep that in mind too when you do your little hangers. So I can put a little bead of glue here. I'll lay down my ribbon. Whoops. And then I'll just use a piece of paper and push that down. A little hot glue gun, I knocked it over. All right, this is the back side, so it doesn't really matter. But of course, my sister Kathy, if you were on still, she would like them to match. If they didn't match, it wouldn't bother me in the least on the back. But I know, because I used to be that person. I used to have the need for things to be matchy-matchy and more of a perfectionist and I'm just not there anymore. Okay, so I got my little wide ribbon that I can use to hang it in the kitchen. You make your kids' artwork so special. Hang it in the window, hang it in the kitchen, hang it in their bedroom or bathroom where they'll see it every day. You can get a hook and hang it off the refrigerator. Just whatever you want. The ribbon just makes it a little dressier and fancier for the kids. This would be a really cute idea to hang on each person's chair for Easter dinner. So instead of name tags, the kids could make these for every family member, mom, dad, the 3 kids, 1 child, whoever it is, and you could write their names on the board, on the piece somewhere, and then hang it on their chair so they know where they're sitting for dinner. At our house, we always sit in the same 4 seats. It's my husband and me, and we have 2 boys, and we always sit in the same 4 seats. So sometimes my Ganem will sit in my seat, and I'll say, move over, you're in my chair. And he'll say, does it really matter, Mom? And I'll say, well, yeah, I like the chair closest to the stove, to be honest with you, closest to the kitchen, because if I need to jump up, which I'm the one a lot of times offering to jump up and get things, or to, if somebody wants more of something to share, like I'll go get you another serving. I want to be the closest to the kitchen. It just makes it easier for Mom. What do you think? It's already drying, so those little marks will go away once it's completely dry. See, you can just prop that up wherever you want. All right, guys. You guys have fun making your little cutout projects. I don't even know what to name this. I'll call it Framed Egg, Framed Bunny. It'll be in the playlist, the video. You can come back later and replay it, stop it, pause it, fast forward it. Share it, please, especially with the kids who are home, the parents who are at home taking care of the kids, especially those who aren't super creative. Right? Where they just say, oh, I don't know how you do that. You're so creative. Share these videos with her, with that mom, or with him, with that dad, because they're probably desperate for projects to do with the kids, and this walks them right through how to use everything that they probably have at home to create cute things. Thank you, Kimberly. I so appreciate it. Jennifer says, cute. Thank you. Kathy, yes. I know what you're saying yes to. All right, Mary, Pat. Oh, what's Pat saying? Would love it if you'd continue this sort of video after the shelter in is over. Not necessarily daily, maybe just weekly. You have such great ideas. Oh, thanks, Pat. I have my craft therapy group. That's my paid membership group. I have, in there we do we started out doing 1 live workshop a month, and now my goal is to do a weekly workshop in there, just like this, where I'd quickly share what the supplies are, and then those folks can do it at their leisure. But if you were to join that, it's $20 a month. There are now 12 tutorials in that group, because I started it last April. So it's been almost a full year that we've been doing it, and we've been doing 1 a month, plus there's bonus content, like how to sew fabric flowers for embellishments, things like that. So if you have any interest, you guys, you're all welcome to join the Craft Therapy Club. But yes, my plan is to do more videos, produce more content for you guys in general. So say a little prayer, Pat, that I have the energy to keep it up. Because, I have the Chalk Couture page as well. So I'm doing content on the Chalk Couture page. I'm doing content on this page, and I'm doing exclusive content for the Craft Therapy Club members, those paid members. Who are kind of like my little VIPs. So lots of content going out. Say a little prayer that God keeps providing me the creativity to do it. So I appreciate that. Hello, Tracy in Illinois. Hello. Yes, I know what you mean, Pat. More kids crafts. So maybe that could be worked in on a more regular basis. I will still send the template, Diana, as long as I have your email address. So private message me your email address, or just private message me, and then I can include it in the private message. I know, Beth, can you believe it? Beth says, I can't believe it's been a year that you've been in that group. We started last April, and we have done I love the painting projects. I am a fan of, hang tight, the painted projects. I'll show you. I'm a huge fan of the painted stuff, but I'm trying to do a little bit of everything. So we did this snowman over the winter. We painted him, and we did it in a couple of different ways. Like we did it both in watercolor and acrylics. We did this multimedia. I love this set. This was one of the first ones that we did. And it's multimedia. Oh, my little bird came off. He really did come off. Oh, Oh, I see what happened. I used little glue tabs and they came right off. He's positioned right here. I am yours and you are mine. So we did these multimedia, and these I love because we did that crackle, Beth. We did that crackle on the edges with that medium. These were so fun to do. The church, of course, this one was hugely popular doing the church. I love the painted projects, but I know that you guys want crafty stuff too with other supplies besides just paint. So you'll see both of those things in there. One bigger planned, like what happens in that group is on the first of the month, I announce the project. Then the group, I give them the supply list a day or two later, and the discount codes if I have them for them. And then from the 1st until the middle of the month, usually around the 15th, they have that much time, 2 weeks to gather all their supplies if they don't already have them. And then around the middle of the month, we do the live workshop together in this format in the group. And then for the next 2 weeks of that month, some people aren't there for the live, so they are catching up and doing their project, maybe 3 days after the live occurred. Or some people are ambitious and they'll create more than one. So they do it with one set of colors and then they do it with a different set of colors. So they have the last 2 weeks to showcase their items and to finish their projects before the next one is announced for the next month. All of those projects, whoever joins, you have the history, like the whole content library is available to you when you join. So you can get in there and do whatever project you want, whatever month. It's all organized in units. Everything's there, the supply list, the video instructions. So it's been so fun. I love that group. And it has gotten smaller. And I think a lot of it is, and I understand a lot of it is because of COVID. I do get it. I understand it. But you are all more than welcome to join us in there. There's no commitment. You can sign up, and then if 2 months later it's not for you, I'll always be sad to see anyone go. But yes, you can cancel your membership. Do paintings on fabric, please. We do the stenciling on fabric, and I was actually thinking of an ink project today for Chalk Couture. So Chalk Couture with the Comfy Nest at, what time did I say today? 2 for that. Tracy, it's not too late. I do have 2 kits going out today. I think I have 1 kit left. I think I have 1 board and base left, Tracy. So if you want it, can you private message me so I get you the link so that you can get that ordered? And then I'll ship it out to you today. I'm so glad. Beth says she loves the group. Thank you for telling me that. That means a lot to me. All right, you guys, have a beautiful, blessed day. Thanks for tuning in. Please, if you don't mind, share the love. Be a love and share so that other families can enjoy these lives. I do appreciate it. Take care. I'll catch you at 2 o'clock on Chalk Couture with the Comfy Nest.